Councilor Herzog, number 5.
Councilor Bryan, number 6.
City Clerk Jones, number 7.
Councilor Cameron, number 8.
Councilor Kinsey, number 9.
Charlie Tonton, number 11. Claude Cronin, number 12.
We have on the agenda, as you'll see, the first thing is a discontinuance hearing on Haunches Way. That was, quote, to hear testimony and comment from interested persons relative to the proposed permanent discontinuance, abandonment of a portion of Haunches right-of-way. This hearing was continued. Mr. President, now that we've opened it up, do you want to take it from here?
We'll take a roll call here on this here, please.
Councilor Eigenman.
Here.
Councilor Junta is absent. Councilor Harquist.
Here.
Councilor Herzog.
Present.
Councilor Kinsey.
Here.
Councilor Tontar.
Here.
Councilor Vogel.
Here.
Councilor Cameron.
Present.
Councilor Connell.
Here.
Councilor Cronin.
Present.
Council President.
Here.
So we have a quorum, Mr. President. We have 10 present, 1 absent.
Anyone wish to speak on Haunches Way? This is a continuance, and if there's no one to continue, I'll entertain a motion to continue it till after the zoning board has heard this, and we'll continue the hearing to that date.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll start a council meeting in 8 minutes.
Great. That was the first and second until after the zoning board has made a decision. Jesus. I wonder how that sounded. You got everything? Huh? So, which GoPro? Huh? We might be live.
It just fills right back up. I didn't want to go down during the storm because I figured that's, you know, there's a lot of people who really have jobs to do. I went out yesterday. Oh, mortgage now, and sand moves, sand crosses the roads, and snow day too. Yeah,
Oh,
the snow.
it's good. It's working out. Good. Oh, good. Yeah.
Just to go in and 5 minutes later and $40 later.
Oh, yeah. Adamson's time. Yeah. And he's just, I like how thorough, and I get, little tweaks and all, and he just, good. Sweet.
You're recommending
Yeah, I know. I should start getting some.
That's having a wall that
Tonight, before we begin our meeting, there's two people who would like to remember who passed away since our last meeting. Maura Perkins, who served on the Mayor's Advisory Council and Finance Committee. Ruth Orman, Mother of Ann Orman of the Chamber of Commerce. Robert Goldfroth, who was a fireman here for over 30 years, and his son Paul is a fireman presently in the city of Newburyport. And my former next-door neighbor, Margaret Fuller Taranda, who taught in the Newburyport school system for about 25 to 30 years. And her father was on the school committee for 51 years, and that is what Fuller Field was named after on Low Street. So a moment of silence for those four individuals. Thank you. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, do the roll call for the City Council meeting of January 29, 2015.
Councilor Agaman.
Here.
Councilor Junta is absent. Councilor Hartquiz.
Present.
Councilor Herzog.
Here.
Councilor Kinsey.
Here.
Councilor Tantar.
Here.
Councilor Vogel.
Here.
Councilor Cameron.
Here.
Councilor Connell.
Here.
Councilor Cronin.
Present.
Council President O'Brien.
Yep.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Make file item.
There are a number of items. The first one would be communication number 4. The councilors will see it on their desk. It's a letter from Councilor Cronin with respect to the United States Coast Guard. There is a number of committee items for license and permits. Committee items 5, 7, and 8 will be coming out when we reach that point, committee items. There is, for planning and development, the Spofford Street, which is item number 2, that will be coming out. And there's also an announcement that ordinance number 6, which is being pulled by President O'Brien, which is the one on plastic bags, changing the effective date. And I believe that is it, Mr. President.
Yes, I'm pulling the one on the plastic bag. I've asked the city solicitor for a ruling on the possibility of tying this into putting it on the ballot in November, a non-binding referendum so the citizens in Newburyport can vote on whether they want plastic bags, yes or no. And I would bring that back combined for the next meeting. So that's why I pulled it this meeting.
Motion to accept the late file items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment.
Do you want to sign this? Looks like 5.
Monica Chest, 35 Broad Street. Okay, thank you.
Gonna wait.
The person, Kate Howard, 94 Pleasant Street, parking garage.
Hi. I'm sorry. I live at 94 Pleasant Street. I'm an abutter to the parking of the proposed parking garage. I received a letter for the last meeting that never took place. I didn't get a letter for this meeting. I just happened to see it in the paper. I'm here because I'm real concerned about the idea of putting a parking garage in that part of town. My concern is that, first of all, the air quality, that's a major concern. I don't understand how that can help having a parking garage in that it's a very busy area of town. There's a lot going on there. It's a very tight area as far as the street is concerned. Merrimack Street's a very narrow street right there. It's a pretty narrow street everywhere, but it's particularly narrow there. So if you're talking about a hotel and a parking garage, the parking garage, I don't know how tall it's going to be. I have no idea what it's going to look like. But my concern is that the air quality is one thing. Also, I can't imagine that this is going to help with traffic. I think people, my street, my end of the Pleasant Street, is always packed with cars. And obviously, if there was some way to alleviate that, that would be great, and I would be all for that. The reality is that people are not going to necessarily park in a parking garage if they can park for free on the street. So I'm not sure that that's going to do anything in the parking situation. It's a real concern for me, though, that what I picture a lot of idling cars, a lot of smoke, a lot of carbon monoxide, and a lot of, and it being very difficult for people who live right around there, and there are quite a few. It's a residential area. I mean, I realize that we're all looking to the water, but if you turn around and look the other way, it's a residential area. People live there, families live there. And so I have real concerns about what this is going to do with regard to everybody's ability to move. I mean, to get out and about when they have to. So I'm sure I'm leaving something out here, but that's my concern, that the parking, I mean, I'm not quite clear why I didn't get a letter. I'm in a butter. I don't get that. I thought this was an open process and that everybody had to be notified.
Well, it's not just a meeting on the parking lot, it's a city council meeting, maybe there's another meeting.
Well, the last meeting was particularly for my understanding was it was just for the parking garage.
Not for
That
city
got
council, no.
canceled.
Right.
It
That
got
wasn't just
canceled.
for the parking garage.
Okay, but it got canceled because Mr. Carp wasn't available or they weren't ready or something. That was the excuse that was given. And that's fine. I guess I don't want this to happen without people having an opportunity to speak, because it's going to impact. It's going to impact for many, many years. This isn't just a done deal once they put a parking garage in. It's a snowball. It's going to create a lot of issues. I don't see how this is going to benefit the town. I realize that parking is a pain. I get it. I've been living here for almost 20 years. And I pay taxes. I don't necessarily have a place to park on my own street, so I get it. But I think that there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way. I'm not sure charging for parking has made parking better. I don't know that that's really made things, improved things for anybody.
Okay, well, this isn't about the parking garage tonight, so.
I was told from the paper that this was.
There'll be another meeting. The mayor's gonna give a little talk later, but, so, that's all. There's not gonna be a decision on the parking garage.
No,
tonight.
I'm not expecting a decision, but are you telling me that there's no discussion at all about the parking garage?
In the mayor's update, I think that's about it.
Okay, so the paper today made it sound like this was a meeting
Well,
about,
I can't, nothing I can do about that, so.
is there anything we can do about it? I mean, is there any way for
Well, there'll be
people?
meetings on the parking garage, but this isn't the forum for
But
that.
how do people in the neighborhood who want to be a part of that process know? How do they find out? Is it a
I would assume you
secret?
would get notices like before, but
I didn't get a notice.
we're gonna have to continue on, but this isn't about the parking garage. This is a city council meeting. There might be some information the mayor might give us, but we're not having any vote or any discussion on the best of my knowledge tonight. When we do,
So the
we've got
Daily
5 minutes
News,
and, go ahead, Barry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to suggest, that perhaps you would want to stop into the planning office and speak to the planning director about those issues, and then he could kind of steer you through and put you on the service list so you're notified about meetings that have to do with the parking garage.
okay, but then when it gets to when we actually are talking about whether it gets done or not, do the people in the neighborhood get to say what they think?
Yes.
And when does that happen? Is there a magic moment or something? What is?
Again, the planning office would be the place to give you that information.
And we're laughing because it's a very long process, and it's been going on forever.
We don't have a
Yeah,
proposal.
and I'm really old, and I don't have a lot of time.
I think you'll be around for it. We'll let you know. We'll come knocking.
All right, so I need to check to the planning
Yeah.
department.
It's right out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Barry Spiro. We'd like to thank the Daily News.
Yeah. Good Dykstra again.
Hello, I am Dr. Barry Spiro, 4 Lafayette Street. I am a general dentist, both academic and clinical. I have a dental degree from New York University College of Dentistry, DDS, a graduate hospital residency degree from Albert Einstein College of Medicine and Dentistry, a fellowship degree from the Academy of General Dentistry, FAGD. I've been on the staff of Faulkner Hospital for 20 years, from 1991 to 2011, when I retired. I'm a member of many dental organizations, the Massachusetts Dental Society, the American Dental Society, the Academy of General Dentistry Society. I saw my first patient 40 years ago. I've seen thousands of patients. And I'm here to talk about fluoride and how important fluoride is. Fluoride's been approved by every agency of any significance: the CDC, Center for Disease Control, the American Pediatric Association, the American Medical Association, the American Dental Association. Every society that I just listed approves fluoride in the water. Fluoride prevents cavities. It's been classified as one of the 10 most influential medical results of the century, from 1900 to 1999. And it's phenomenally has reduced 40% of cavities in everybody that fortunately uses the fluoride. A dental cavity is an infection, and infections can get out of control. We're happy that they don't get out of control as often as they do, but somebody dies of a dental infection. And fluoride prevents that. Fluoride, biochemically, it's incorporated into the enamel. The hard surface of the tooth is the enamel, which fights off anything from getting into it and then getting into the blood supply into the whole body. And fluoride makes the enamel is the strongest substance in the body. The fluoride even makes it stronger than that. It's proven, it's been done since 1945, 70 years. It's been acceptable in this country as standard protocol to fluoridate the water. There is no reason to not fluoridate the water. It's only positive. And so especially for those people, the arguments are that people can institute their own fluoride regimen. But there's so many people at different academic levels and socioeconomic levels that will not fluoridate. And this sort of allows them a preventive resource. And it's been acceptable, and it's been done nonstop. So why rock the boat? Why change fluoride? There's no possible reason. There's no deleterious effects from fluoride. So I am here to present that. And I guess that's it.
Thank you.
I'll take you. I'll take you.
Jenny Donahue?
Well said, thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, city councilors and city council president. For those who don't know me, my name is Jenny Donahue, and I am chair of the Newburyport Commission on Disabilities. This evening, the city council will hear a second reading to an amendment to an ordinance regarding handicap parking regulations. The Commission on Disabilities had formally requested the handicap parking fine be raised in accordance with the state recommendations. I'm basically just here tonight on behalf of the Commission on Disabilities and our community of people with disabilities to thank you all for your support. By approving this measure, we will be able to move forward with our multi-phase plan to deal with this issue. And I would like to extend a special thanks to Councillor Tantar, Councillor Herzog, and Councillor Cronin for their encouragement. We truly appreciate it. I don't expect there to be much discussion on the issue, but if there is, I am here to answer any questions that may arise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's it for public comment. And the mayor's update.
Thank you. It's nice to be back in front of the council, President O'Brien, members of the City Council, to provide you with my brief update. It's been a very busy month as we transition from one administration to the next. had the opportunity to be at the State House for Governor Patrick's Long Walk, attended DA Blodgett's swearing in, attended Attorney General Maura Healey's swearing in, which were all important events to be to, and I was also honored to be invited to Mayor Marty Walsh in Boston, his State of the City at Symphony Hall. We had the Mass Municipal Association meeting last week. We had about 14, 15 city employees along with staff from my office attend. It was a very valuable weekend of workshops. Governor Baker addressed the mayors, managers, and other elected officials and appointed officials in the attendance. And also during the municipal finance workshop, the new secretary, Kristen Lepore of A&F, we were getting a little concerned about, because we hadn't heard anything about local aid in Chapter 70 as we're beginning to prepare our FY16 budget, and we're informed to use last year's numbers. So that's encouraging, because with the $765 million deficit in the state, we've been assured that there will be no mid-year 9C cuts, but again, we're waiting to see how they will address this budget gap. But overall, I think that we've started to build new relationships with the administration, and I'm very pleased about the direction things are going. Next week, I will be in Washington, D.C., meeting with Senator Markey, Senator Warren, Congressman Moulton, and Congressman Capuano to talk about several issues, but also some of the gap funding that we have currently for the intermodal facility and the garage. School projects, we're on punch list state at this point. We're continuing to work at Bresnahan with the neighbors and some of the other abutters regarding some of the energy management issues and lighting and reducing lighting and HVAC and those kinds of sounds. The school building committee will continue to have to meet for quite a while, because we still have to work through all of the accounting and finance with the Mass School Building Authority. We are planning a ribbon cutting in March for the Knock-Mullen with state officials, and we'll let you know as soon as we have that date is confirmed with the School Building Authority. I am very pleased with the construction that's happening and the progress at the Senior Community Center. I'm sure as you go by, you all of a sudden will look and say, wow, they've got roofs and walls and windows are going in, so they're really hoping to have it buttoned up within the next 6 to 8 weeks, because that certainly makes for a little better construction site than having to work in these kinds of conditions, certainly. And there's an additional update here. I have the first 3 weeks of fundraising, $80,000 was raised to make that gap that we have for the Senior Community Center, and we're already up to $160,000. So I really appreciate the efforts of Peter Lombardi and Richie Eaton and Donnie LaFrance and all the others who are part of this fundraising committee to make up the gap. In terms of the garage and intermodal facility, there has been a lot of confusion about this, because our local paper just keeps writing story after story after story. Nothing has changed about this. We have $5 million that was, through our legislatures, put into the transportation bond bill, into the governor's capital plan, and now is in Mass DOT's capital plan. We need the governor to authorize that money to be moved so that we can continue negotiations with NED. We will not be able to negotiate with New England Development unless we have $5 million in our hand. Who is going to negotiate with someone who has nothing to put on the table but a wish or a dream of that? So everything is slowed down at this point with the new administration. I had a good exchange with Charlie Baker today, as a matter of fact, who understands that this is an important project as we move forward. We do not have a design. I'm going to say it again. We do not have a design for the garage. All we have is some broad schematic that we used when we were doing the first vote before the City Council that approved the garage going forward. So it's can't be butt ugly, because we don't have a butt ugly garage design to look at.
Did she just say butt ugly?
Recorded in the paper by one of the counselors.
She just said butt ugly.
He did say it, I was there.
So what needs to happen is that we need our local paper to stop reporting about a non-story until there is a story to report.
We're looking at you.
I apologize to all the people from the community who came out for a big garage meeting, because this is not the way we do meetings. You will get a formal notice from the mayor's office when we are doing a formal meeting about the garage. But first and foremost, we need to pick an owner's project manager who represents the city in development. That RFP is on the street. We need to hire an owner's project manager before we hire the design firm, and that RFP is on the street also. Once we hire a designer, then we can design a garage. And then once we have that person in place, we will bring everyone in the community together and we will talk about what makes sense for this project. I know that the people who are direct abutters have concerns, and we will listen to those. But we've been talking since I have been in this city since '79 about the need for a garage so that we can move the cars off of the parking lots on the waterfront. Why should the cars have the best view of the water? There's been lots of work around building and expanding open space and parks down there, and in order to move forward in economic development in the city, we need a garage. So there will be a lot of opportunity for input from the entire community, the city council, once we have the money secured and we have finished our negotiations with New England Development. Until that happens, there's not going to be any, I'll give you updates as I have them, but there is nothing to talk about in terms of the garage. Okay? And again, I apologize to anybody who's here for a garage meeting tonight. The Kelly School, we got a little delayed because of the weather and the illness in terms of meeting with Diamond Sinakori, who is the contract and is working on the purchase and sale for the Kelly School. And keep in mind that we have an historic preservation easement on that so that the facade of the school will remain, and we will begin moving forward in final negotiations on that purchase and sale. We've had a lot of feedback from the Winter Street Architects feasibility study, and we are getting feedback from the community as well as developers. At the same time, we have an educational track that's being chaired by school committee member Bruce Menon, who is working on looking at any additional educational needs that we might have for the Brown School. And at the same time, we're moving forward with the city's ad hoc committee looking at what makes sense in addition to youth services for that building in the South End. I am very, very excited about the fact that you have the ordinance for the 40R before you. This has been year-plus work in the making in terms of being able to get ready for this smart growth zoning ordinance for the city. Is something that makes a tremendous amount of sense for us to do, particularly on the gateway of our city in the traffic circle. This is the Minco development of approximately 80 units that will have 25% affordable, maybe even deeper. We have no rentals in our city. Those of you who have family members or children or even renters yourself know how difficult it is in terms of finding rental apartments. So very, very excited about this project going forward. The first step, of course, is to begin vetting the 40R proposal and then all the studies that go along with it. So I am encouraging the kinds of input from the community and from this City Council as well as Planning Board to, and the Housing Trust to all work together as we can move this project forward. The field projects, we are approaching final design for the stadium, which will begin in June, and are just working on finalizing a contract with Huntress Associates, who will begin design of both the Knoxville and Fuller projects. We had talked a bit about the Graff lift station, and as I have told you previously, that we are at maximum capacity, and it has reached its end of life, which is typically 30 years, and this past month was 30 years for the Graff lift station. With changing in zoning in the business and industry park, as well as additional development on or around that area, it's something that we have to begin to seriously look at and how we're going to address this. We've been working with DPS in terms of the sewer department as well as the water sewer commissioners in terms of what makes sense. As soon as we finalize a plan, we will bring it before the City Council for further discussion about how we're going to be able to deal with this. In your packet tonight, you have a request for a transport of finished design of the rail trail. Unfortunately, Mass DOT and National Grid have raised the bar and are requiring additional hoops that we never had to jump through. Jordy can fill you in more when you review this in committee. for Phase 2 of our rail trail. So consequently, we have to be at final design by June because we have money in the TIP program, federal money, to start construction, and we have to be at final design. So this is why this is critical. I would appreciate your support on that. In terms of the FY16 budget, as I mentioned, we got at least some preliminary numbers from the new Secretary about A&F, and have been working. We have a budget schedule out to all the department heads. Our school department superintendent, Susan Baccaro, has been meeting with her leadership team, beginning to develop a budget for the schools. And so we begin moving that process forward, and I will keep you updated as we go. Very pleased to announce that the city, for the third year in a row, received a Budget Distinction Award from the prestigious Governor's Finance Officers Association. Now, OPEB. Other public employee benefits. We have before you tonight a settlement agreement that we received regarding what is referred to as MTBE, which is an additive that was previously used in gasoline that has now since been discontinued because it would contaminate water supply. We had one well, one testing that had the most minuscule amount of this chemical in one of our wells. But as a result, this federal class action case, they were being settled, and our city solicitor brought Attorney Sandman to the city and said, you can sign on to this. There's no obligation, no risk. And it turned out a year later, we received a check for $5,490,772. 549,772. And as again, I said that our water supply was never at risk. And when we met with S&P as they were doing an assessment of our bond rating as we were going out for long-term bonding for some of our projects, one of the things they said that we're at AA+, the highest is AAA, so you will never get up there, or you could go back if you don't do something to address this liability. Our liability now is about $48 million. It was $60 million. Every community across the Commonwealth is dealing with this, as well as the state. They recommended, he said, do you by chance have one large check that you'll be receiving soon? We all sort of looked at each other at the finance team and said, yes. So in terms of the city's health, and what's in the best interest financially for the city is to join the state trust fund, PRIP, and invest this money in the trust fund. They're getting about a 9.6% interest, which is very good, and that's what we're recommending. That's what our finance teams are recommending to us for Southwest, S&P, as well as our own internal finance team really believes that this is the way to go. One of the things they talked about at the Mass Municipal Conference too at DOR. So I would encourage you to support that decision to set up that trust fund for the city to reduce that liability. Plum Island Water and Sewer, unfortunately Phase 1 did not finish as much as we had anticipated. I think they underestimated the amount of time it would take to repair each hydrant as well as weather conditions. So they completed as much as they could. The one thing that was important was to remove metallic components from the system so that they're in the lab this week being tested, which is being observed by our city engineer as well as our consulting lab, Mass Materials Research, to watch that. I would imagine 6 to 8 weeks we would have results of those testings back, and we'll be able to present to you what we have found out about the materials that were used in the system, or just confirm what we found, what we had in our initial testing, that it was the wrong materials used in the system and they're corroding. Master plan update, again, Kate is from the planning office is getting that back on track. We took a little break for a while, and we have a steering committee meeting next week, and then we'll be rolling out the schedule for the spring. I am very pleased to announce that the Waterfront Trust and NRA, we've had, unfortunately, the weather canceled our NRA meeting, but we've had a meeting with the Waterfront Trust, and it's very encouraging to see the kinds of partnerships that are being created between both of these waterfront stakeholders and working on amenities and as well as shared contracts and tree work now. So it's very encouraging to see this kind of work going forward. School districts, we have been meeting with several college presidents and deans from both private and state-run community colleges and universities, and are very encouraged by the kinds of responses we're receiving in terms of building stronger partnerships with our schools, with the city of Newburyport. So I will keep you updated as those partnerships start to solidify. Also encourage you to check out this school's new website if you haven't yet. And I would like to thank the Newburyport Education Foundation for supporting the superintendent's request for the financing to update that. So I think those are pretty much the highlights at this point. Oh, other than Colby Farm, thank you for the great work that you're doing. Appreciate the joint meeting you had upstairs with open space and planning and development and parks. And I look forward to getting your recommendations about how we proceed with this right of first refusal for Colby Farm. So thank you for your efforts there also. Questions? Thank you. Yes?
On the high school project, is there any update on the investigation of the playing field and the artificial turf?
I know that they have been visiting sites, and I will ask Lisa Reed to definitely give you at your next city council meeting to have a communication for you in terms of what those decisions have been made. I mean, I know that based on everything that we've learned about crumb rubber, that we've moved to looking at some other types of synthetic turfs, and I believe that they are leaning towards one or two, but I don't have a final answer yet, but thank you for that question. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Well, everyone, we'll talk about parking about regional, they want
You might go home now, that's it.
Leave the room. Allison, we're pulling this out, right?
Who wants consent agenda?
The consent agenda this evening consists of the approval of the minutes for the January 12th meeting, 2015. There's one transfer, Mayor's Office, free cash, $163,000 to Rail Trail Capital Project Fund. Has to be referred to Budget and Finance. There are three communications. The first one is a letter from CVS regarding plastic bags that has been removed at the request of Councilor Herzog. The second one is a secondhand motor vehicle license for McGuire's Auto Repair. That's been removed at the request of Councilor Harquist. Third is the election calendar 2015. That is in for approval. There are two first reading of reappointments. David Zink, 6 Laurel Road, electrical inspector until January 31st, 2016. And Gary Calderwood, 3 Howard Street, as building inspector, commissioner, January 15th, 2018. Those are being pulled at the request of Councilor Cronin, which leaves a rather skinny consent agenda as amended.
Only a couple of things left. Anyone else want to pull anything else? What is the wish of the council?
Motion approved as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Move on to communications. Communication number 1.
Number 1 is that letter from CVS regarding plastic bags. Looking at it, it says a number of things. There's several technical reports included, a test report,
I will,
Jane,
for purposes of discussion, I'll move this be received and filed.
Discussion, Councilor Herzog.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a letter dated January 7th, sent by hard copy to the City Council. Basically, it's a formal request to consider an alternative reusable bag on behalf of CVS Health and the pharmacy retail location at 13.5 Pond Street. I don't want to spend too much time with this, Mr. President. This is in the agenda as going to the Public Utilities Committee. If anywhere, it should go to License and Permits, but I don't really think it should go to committee at all. The ordinance that we passed as a body last year is explicit that the city, i.e. the executive branch, is responsible for enforcement of the ordinance. I believe it's the responsibility of the executive branch to follow up with CVS and or any other business who comes before the City Council regarding this ordinance. Thanks.
Any further discussion? Motion to receive and file, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
1 no. 9 yes, 1 no. Move on to Communication 2.
Communication 2 is a second-hand motor vehicle license for McGuire's Auto Repair and Sales.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President. Ryan McGuire came to our license and permit meeting this evening. He currently owns McGuire's Auto Repair. He's been in business for 2 years, and he has an insurance policy for the auto repair part of the business. He is now looking to expand it into sales. I'd like to approve this contingent on the fact that he brings his insurance policy paper for the sales part of his business to Clerk Jones. And in order for him to get his insurance paperwork, he needs to know that we're okay, moving forward with the second part of his business. So I do urge you to approve this so that Mr. Ryan McGuire can move on with his new adventure. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Move on to Communication number 4, I think of it.
Communication number 4 is the letter from Councilor Cronin regarding the United States Coast Guard.
Yes, could you read that, please?
Certainly can.
I have it right here.
As soon as it comes to light. Oh, it appeared. Thank you. Dear Captain O'Connor, Sector Commander, United States Coast Guard, Boston, Mass. Newburyport City Council is responding to your request for a local input into a recent notice to mariners regarding the removal of the Merrimack River Rough Bar Beacon. USCG maintains 20 surf stations in the United States, 5 of which are on the East Coast, and only 2 of these are in New England, the Merrimack River included. Newburyport boasts an estimated 3,000 vessels of all types that are seasonally in the water. This does not consider other communities upriver as far as Haverhill or several river-accessible boat ramps, one of which is the Commonwealth's busiest. This large number of vessels, the renowned striped bass fishing, and the Merrimack Bar make the Merrimack River outlet a congested and often dangerous place to fish or transit. It is an unfortunate fact that annually we suffer losses, oftentimes fatally. Station Merrimack maintains station near the bar when breaking surf conditions warrant. This, combined with the outstanding services of local harbor masters, undoubtedly make the area safer. However, this coverage does eliminate the need for a warning beacon, as it depends on other considerations or calls for services. The beacon warns mariners entering or leaving the river as to conditions before these vessels commit an attempt to cross these waters, something a patrol vessel just cannot accomplish on busy days. Budgets are squeezed at every level of government. While this is a good examination of cost-cutting measures, in this instance, the short-term saving of removal must be weighed against the loss of human life and cost of SAR missions that this removal will generate. We urge you to retain this beacon. Sincerely, Robert J. Cronin, Counselor, Chair of Public Safety.
Motion to approve with the addition of not, I think, before eliminate.
I think so too.
Oh, second paragraph. Our third paragraph.
Correct. Third sentence, third paragraph.
If I can paraphrase. So in other words, in the third paragraph, starting with the sentence, however, it would say, however, this coverage does not eliminate the need for correct?
I'm going to use your Scribner's error.
Very well written.
I always thought it meant it was a rowdy bar.
Yeah,
What happened when you give it a...
I should say we left that out.
Go ahead. Be drinking this time. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Communication 5, Mayor's late file.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Appointments?
First reading of David Zink, 6 Laurel Road, electrical inspector until January 31st, 2016, and Gary Calderwood, 3 Howard Street, building inspector until January 15th, 2018.
Motion to suspend the rules and take these in one reading.
Second. Any discussion? Councilor Cronin.
Yes, the reason I'm requesting this is that both David Zink and Gary Calderwood have been employees of the city for a considerable amount of time, so the vetting process has already been accomplished. Secondly, and more importantly, if you look at their appointment dates, one has already passed, and the other will pass if this goes on, and that means, do we really have a building commissioner that has been appointed? So I would like to protect the city and get this done as quickly and as expeditiously as possible. Thank you.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Is this on the motion to waive the rules?
Done, I didn't hear.
Is it on motion to waive the rules?
Yes.
Councilor Eigenman?
Yes.
Councilor Harquist?
Yes.
Councilor Herzog?
Yes.
Councilor Kinsey?
Yes.
Councilor Tantar?
Yes.
Councilor Vogel?
Yes.
Councilor Cameron?
Yes.
Councilor Connell?
Yes.
Councilor Cronin?
Yes.
Council President O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
I thought we waived the rules and approve as one, but
Okay.
that's what I thought the motion was.
Was it? My mistake, I didn't realize that.
I know I fall asleep once in a while up here, but I do remember something
So it's done.
something like that coming through. So. Move on to second reading of appointments.
Second reading, Marion Leighton Levy, 323 Merrimack Street, Fruit Street Local Historic District until December 1st, 2017. And there's a reappointment of James D. O'Brien, 867th Street, to the Conservation Commission until June 1st, 2017.
Motion approved collectively.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilor Eigenman?
Yes.
Councilor Harquist?
Yes.
Councilor Herzog?
Yes.
Councilor Kinsey?
Yes.
Councilor Tantar?
Yes.
Councilor Vogel?
Yes.
Councilor Cameron?
Yes.
Councilor Connell?
Yes.
Councilor Cronin?
Yes.
Council President O'Brien?
The O'Brien is no relation, so yes.
Make that note.
So noted.
Move into orders.
Order number 1 is the tabled order on Haunches Way, abandonment and discontinuance thereof.
Take a motion, take it out, please.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll take a motion to put it back on the table and remain there until the hearing is finished of the zoning board. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Order number 2.
Order number 2 is dated January 26th. Whereas on the 27th day of January 2014, City of Newburyport accepts the provisions of Chapter 32B, Section 20 of Mass General Laws, authorizing the creation of a trust fund for other post-employment benefits, so-called OPEB trust fund. You want me to read the whole thing, Mr.
Just how
President?
much money was
Please don't.
received, please. It's already been said in the mayor's update, but
So now therefore it's ordered that in accordance with the Act, City of Newburyport hereby designates Healthcare Security Trust Board of Trustees to serve as custodian of the trust fund. The treasurer collector acting on behalf of the city is authorized to execute and deliver the custodian agreement with HCST in substantially the form attached here too. Sign checks, wire trust funds to HCST, order the pension reserve fund, etc., and make withdrawals and investments and enter into any such agreements and deliver such certificates as the management board may direct. The sum of $549,772, together with the prior appropriation of $25,000, be appropriated as a total initial investment of $574,772 into the OPEB trust fund. Submitted, Councilor Charles F. Tantar.
Move to refer to Budget and Finance.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Order number 3.
Order number 3 states as follows, that the City of Newburyport, the City Council of the City of Newburyport, on behalf of the city, accepts with gratitude the donation of $85,000 from the Mayor Gaydon W. Morrill Charitable Foundation. Funds to be used as indicated in a letter to Mayor Donna D. Holliday and from Robert D. Morrill, trustee, dated November 8, 2014. Submitted, Councilor Thomas F. O'Brien.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I don't see anyone here from the Parks Department, so maybe Mr. Lombardi can give us an update where the money's going, or can have the city clerk just read it all.
I'd be happy to read it.
Okay.
The monies will be applied as follows. Atwood Park Improvement Project, $28,000, $165, and it breaks it down into benches and trees. Number 2, Joppa Park Improvement Project, $15,135. Monies to support lawn renovation and upgrade soil and seeding. 3, Cushing Park Improvement Project, $20,000. Money to be used for creating a landscape buffer abutting the residential properties, new lawn trees, and a tall hedge against the residential line. 4, Senior Community Center, $10,000 to be applied to exterior site improvements, specifically raised planters, patio trellis footing, etc. And 5, Belleville Improvement Society, Atkinson Common, $11,700. Monies are to be used to remove and restore the base surface in the lily ponds. Submitted, sincerely, Robert D. Morrill.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Going to ordinances.
Ordinance number 1, second reading. Section 3C, zoning map. Zoning map be amended to pursuant to 3D, change the zoning map such that a portion of R3 zone between Route 1 and State Street hereby changed to an R2 zone, said area to include also parcels of land so depicted on an attached map entitled Back Bay Neighborhood Zoning Change Revised, importantly with the date December 17, 2014, submitted Robert J. Cronin.
Motion to approve.
Second. Discussion?
And then some.
I didn't hear the motion. Sorry.
Is a motion to approve first and second? Thank you.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilor Agaman?
Yes.
Councilor Harquist?
Yes.
Councilor Herzog?
Yes.
Councilor Kinsey?
Yes.
Councilor Tantar?
Yes.
Councilor Vogel?
Yes.
Councilor Cameron? Yes. Councilor Connell?
Yes.
Councilor Cronin?
Yes.
Council President O'Brien?
Yes. Ordinance 2.
Ordinance 2 is also a second reading. It is Section 13-184, handicap parking regulations, edit first sentence to change MGLA to MGL, add first sentence 4 in front of the word requiring. We're deleting B and all subsequent text and replacing it with new Section B and new Section 2A and B. Perhaps importantly, section prohibiting leaving unauthorized vehicles within parking spaces, including cross-hatched areas designated for use by disabled veterans or handicapped persons. And B, penalty for the violation made under the section, $100 for the first offense, $200 for each subsequent offense, and a vehicle may be removed in accordance with Section 22D. Penalty is not a surchargeable offense under 113B of Chapter 175. Submitted, Councilor Herzog.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilor Agaman?
Yes.
Councilor Harquist?
Yes.
Councilor Herzog?
Yes.
Councilor Kinsey?
Yes.
Councilor Tantar?
Yes.
Councilor Vogel?
Yes.
Councilor Cameron?
Yes.
Councilor Connell?
Yes.
Councilor Cronin?
Yes.
Council President O'Brien?
Yes. Ordinance 3.
Ordinance 3 is Section 13-174, parking limited, delete from the table State Street. This is with respect to 4 hours between the hours of 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. during weekdays, excluding holidays, on the westerly side from the intersection of Route 1 and State Street, in a northerly direction for approximately 1,250 feet. Submitted, Councilor Eigenman.
Motion to refer to public safety.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First, public safety. The next two ordinances are ordinance 4 and 5. They were submitted by Councilor Junta for traffic situations in his ward. He was at the meeting on Monday night, but since it's got moved to the Thursday night, he had a work meeting, cannot be in attendance. So I would like the council to waive the rules and accept these and refer to public safety if so possible.
Second.
The first one is on Norman Ave, and the second one is on Murphy Ave, so I thank you for that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So, ordinance 4?
4 and 5.
Yeah, Section 13-168, Norman Avenue, no parking between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. weekdays, excepting holidays, on the south side and north side from Murphy Avenue for a distance of 170 feet, running in an easterly direction.
We already moved them.
I think we did it as one motion.
I mean, the rules will waive when referred to committee.
They refer to committee on public safety.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Vote on the other one.
Ordinance number 5, Section 13-168, parking restricted on certain streets. This is Murphy Avenue. No parking on both sides with the exception of an area running for a distance of 100 feet from Low Street, wherein there shall be no parking on both sides between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. weekdays, excepting holidays. Again, submitted by Councilor Junta. He's not here, but we've waived the rules.
We've already waived the rules on this. Let's do it again.
We have already.
Move to refer to public safety.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 7.
Ordinance 6 being pulled. Ordinance 7 is Section 13-180, resident parking. It is a 3-page rewrite, if you will, of Section 13-180, which is our resident parking program to accommodate 4-hour parking in certain zones. Submitted by Councilor Eigenman.
Motion to refer to public safety.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion? Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to explain, this goes together with the previous one. Essentially, the parking clerk did a rewrite in order to take the 4-hour residential zone on State Street that was approved last year and put it in the right place. So we'll get it straight. Substantively, nothing really is going to change, but we'll work it out in committee.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 8.
Ordinance 8 is the Smart Growth District, the purpose of which is to establish a Newburyport Smart Growth District to encourage smart growth in accordance with the purposes of Chapter 40R, consistent with the 2001 Newburyport Master Plan, 2015 Plan Update, 2004 Strategic Land Use Plan. Other objections to this section are quite numerous. Goes on for 35 pages. Would you like me to read it, Mr. President?
Yes. Good for it. That's a wise question, get a wise answer.
Move to refer to planning and development.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Move on to committee items. Budget and Finance.
Nothing, Mr. President.
And Education.
Nothing, Mr. President.
License and permits.
Yes, Mr. President? With your permission, motion to remove items 5, 7, and 8 together.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Motion to approve 5, 7, and 8.
Discussion? Council Hopkins?
Thank you, Mr. President. License and permit met earlier today, and we voted 3-0 to approve the following secondhand vehicle license for Plum Auto Works. They've been in business for, I think this is their 6th year, 7th year. All their paperwork is in order. Also, LCA Motors, their paperwork is in order. They work out of their house on Lieutenant Leary Drive. And then the third one is, of course, for Sunoco up on Story Avenue. All their paperwork is in order. These are 3 renewals, and I urge your approval. Thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Neighborhood and City Services? Planning and Development?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to waive the rules and remove out of committee item number 2, which I neglected to have included in the packet last week, but I did provide a copy that you each have. This is listed as communication number 3 from January 12th.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the following phrasing. The city council confirmed that the unnamed way is in the care, custody, and control of the water department. That's the motion.
Second.
Just for discussion, planning development met last week on this, and we met with Attorney Lisa Mead, who's representing somebody who wants to purchase number 4 Belcher Street, and there is a map attached as the 3rd page there, and you can see my hand scribbling in there, to be purchased is the lot. The person who wants to purchase, in order to get clear title and a valid easement, needs to have the city council confirm that way back when we gave to the water department the care, custody, and control of that unnamed way. The belief is that the city council confirmed that sometime between 1905 and 1909, because there's a reference in the 1909 water department annual report, but a thorough investigation of the various city council minutes in those preceding years cannot find that actual confirmation. So the attorney did go before the Water and Sewer Commission. They have no problem with us confirming that that road is paved, it is used by the water department to access their land in the back of there. And again, this just allows the back part of that lot to have frontage and access to the road that they need to build on there. Okay, but neighbors.
And the Water Department did grant an easement back in, I think, 86 or 87.
And we did approve this 3-0.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Just to repeat that motion, this is a motion to confirm that the way is in the care, custody, and control of the water department.
Yes.
And it's first by Councilor Cameron, the second was by, thank you, Councilor Eigenman.
Yes.
Councilor Harquist.
Yes.
Councilor Herzog.
Yes.
Councilor Kinsey.
Yes.
Councilor Tantar.
Yes.
Councilor Vogel.
Yes.
Councilor Cameron.
Yes.
Councilor Connell.
Yes.
Councilor Cronin.
Yes.
Council President O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. President, if I can make a couple of quick updates to the council. As was mentioned, the planning and development, when we met last week, we did discuss Colby Farm with the planning director. There was another meeting earlier this evening, which was a little broader, and we included the Open Space Committee, Parks Commission, Concom, and some of the city staff. And it's about the Colby Farm parcels, so they've been subdivided. We have a first right of refusal because of they're within the jurisdiction of 61A, so it's farmland. The municipality gets the right of first refusal, so there's interest so-called Lot 8, which I think you've seen maps of, but if you haven't, we can resend those out. There is some interest in that. It's not quite clear that that's actually all that usable, but with the addition of the back lot number 1, there may be some way to do some athletic fields. One person had mentioned possible dog parking. That was not quite a headline. The story was quite a headline. That was one person opinion that dog park might be possible there. Dog fields or otherwise. So part of it's really looking at different field needs. I think that comes first. Possible passive recreation. We're each going to check from our committee and these other respective entities, just checking with various constituencies, and we have had several people come to these meetings and express a desire, first for the vistas, but just open space is pretty rare these days in Newburyport, so I want to take a further look at that. Possible sources of funds would be CPA. So we're looking at that. We are going to the 40R is in committee. We'll probably have a joint hearing with the planning board on March 4th. We'll let you know more about that, and I think we'll all need to undergo an education process around smart growth and all the exciting possibilities around Route 1 traffic circles, so we'll keep you in the loop on that. And as the mayor said, at Kelly School, the possible sale of that is progressing in planning and development. Last week we did review the purchase and sale because part of our approval of that last year, as we surplus that, was to say that the planning and development committee would review those documents, and that all looks good. There would be the present proposal that was accepted includes underground parking, which is a really pretty cool feature for that site. There would be an entrance off of High Street. If you were going easterly on High Street, just before you get to the Kelly School, there's a bit of land there, and they would just drive underneath and get into the school and do the extra parking. So none of the playground, Bartlett Mall, that area would be impacted. And again, there's preservation restrictions on the exterior. That looks like that will be a pretty good deal for the city, both in terms of the purchase price, but just the property taxes that will be generated from that. And that's it for us.
Thank you. Public safety?
Motion to remove item 2, stop intersections Beacon Ave.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead.
Motion approved.
Second. Discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Perkins Playground is located on Beacon Avenue. In the summertime, it's a well-traveled road with cars and kids and parents. Currently, there is a stop sign at Beacon Ave and Oak Street. They want to add another stop sign to make it a 4-way, basically to use it as a traffic calming measure, because it can get really crazy there in the summertime. I believe it passed in public safety, and I urge your approval. Thank you.
Further discussion? Roll call.
Councilor Eigenman?
Yes.
Councilor Harquist?
Yes.
Councilor Herzog?
Yes.
Councilor Kinsey?
Yes.
Councilor Tantar?
Yes.
Councilor Vogel?
Yes.
Councilor Cameron?
Yes.
Councilor Connell?
Yes.
Councilor Cronin?
Yes.
Councilor Bryan?
Yep. Anything else?
Nothing further.
Thank you. Public utilities?
Nothing tonight.
Rules committee?
Nothing to report.
What are the order? Mr. Herzog?
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier tonight, the City Council accepted a donation, a check, which I believe we're in the process of receiving from the Morrill Foundation, $85,000. I just want to go on record as thanking Robert Morrill and the foundation. They send monies to the city every year for I don't know how many years. We have much infrastructure in the city named after the family. They have done much for the city, and just want to go on record as thanking them.
Thank you, standing up. Anything else? Councilor Eigenman?
I just wanted to speak briefly about the snow removal in Ward 2 and Ward 3 especially. I know it's a Difficult issue. I just want to commend DPS and the staff for sleepless nights. That's an awful lot of snow to deal with. I fielded a lot of calls and emails and texts and got really good response from DPS. Some new measures have been put in. It's never going to be perfect, but I really think that we've done a pretty good job considering the volume of snow. I didn't want that to go unremarked.
Anything else? Take a motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Yes.